an orphan girl named Sophia is bought from an orphanage and married off to a significantly older wealthy merchant to produce an heir. After 3 years and still childless, her husband, Cornelis Sandvoort, plans to return her in 6 months if she doesn't give him a son. Her maid and only friend Maria is in love with a fishmonger named Willem. She helps her lover by constantly buying his fish and serving it to the wealthy family she works for. Sophia is desperate to give her husband a son, so she goes to see a fertility doctor. She explains that her husband had children with his first wife, but lost them all many years ago. Even though he is old now, and his aim might not be as effective as it used to be, she wants to give him a son because she is grateful that he saved her from poverty, and most importantly, because he is good to her. The doctor takes Sophia into a room and tries to sleep with her. Appalled, she slaps him and flees the establishment. Sophia goes back to trying every night and praying every day, hoping to be blessed with a child. One day at breakfast, her husband announces that he has hired a portrait painter to paint a double portrait of them. When the young artist Jean van Loos arrives, there is an immediate romantic tension between him and Sophia. After Jean leaves, Sophia pleads with her husband that she doesn't want the painter back in their home. He doesn't understand why, but he suggests commissioning another painter since she is uncomfortable with the first one. Sophia is relieved, but later, she changes her mind. Unable to get Sophia out of his mind, John realizes he has fallen in love with her. He writes a letter to Sophia, asking her to bring him a vase of tulips as inspiration for one of her portraits. With her husband's permission, Sophia delivers the tulips. Consumed by their attraction, they give in to their feelings for one another. Determined to become financially independent and earn enough money to marry Maria and build a family with her, Willem delves into the booming tulip trade. To raise more capital, he sells his fish business and enters fully into the tulip market. Fortune smiles on him as his investment pays off, and he makes a big sale, making him financially stable enough to afford a family with the woman he loves. Maria fears that Willem has abandoned her after selling his business without saying a word. Unaware that he is actually working to secure a future for them together, she is left heartbroken. Around the same time, Sophia borrows Maria's cloak to secretly meet John. Unfortunately, Willem mistakes Sophia for Maria and follows her. Believing he has just witnessed Maria being unfaithful, he is heartbroken. On the other hand, Sophia and John confess their love for one another. At the tavern, Willem tries to drown his sorrows, but he fails miserably. A prostitute approaches him, but he shoos her away. Before leaving, she steals his modest fortune. By the time Willem realizes what has happened and attempts to pursue her, he is beaten by her brother and several of his friends, before they forcibly take him away to be conscripted into the Dutch Navy. Maria learns that Willem has joined the Navy and is devastated that he has truly left her, especially because she is now carrying his child. Desperate and frightened about her future, she confides in Sophia and threatens to reveal Sophia's affair to Cornelis if she is cast out of the house. Sophia is heartbroken and restless over Maria's threat. Then Cornelis reveals to her his deepest guilt, how his first wife suffered a miscarriage with their first child, and how he believes he is being punished by God for choosing to save their second baby instead of his wife, only for God to take them both regardless. Desperate to protect herself, Sophia sees his pain as an opportunity and confesses that she is pregnant. The news fills Cornelis with joy. Sophia then devises a risky plan. Together with Maria and John, she decides to pretend to be pregnant, and when the baby arrives, she will fake her death, allowing her to disappear and begin a new life with John. Meanwhile, Cornelis will finally have the heir he has always wanted, and Maria will be able to raise her child without the fear or shame of having a baby out of wedlock. To make the deception convincing, Maria bribes the crooked fertility doctor, Dr. Sorg, who confirms the pregnancy and confidently predicts that the child will be a boy. Meanwhile, John begins making plans for a future with Sophia. Determined to secure enough money for them to start a family, he turns to the increasingly lucrative tulip trade. Learning that the nuns of St. Ursula cultivate valuable tulips in their gardens, he attempts to steal some bulbs. However, the sharp-eyed abbess catches him in the act and promptly knocks him unconscious. When Jan awakens, he apologizes for his actions, introduces himself, and confesses that he tried stealing to provide for the woman he loves. He then asks the abbess to help him enter the tulip trade. Rather than punish him, the abbess surprises him by giving him the tulip bulbs Willem had purchased before being taken away by the Navy. Day by day, Sophia and Maria do their best to deceive Cornelis. Soon, he leaves on a business trip, and Sophia completely takes over Maria's work. She takes care of her and her cravings, and Maria is grateful that, when it comes down to it, Sophia is a true friend. She becomes ashamed of having threatened to expose Sophia's affair. Eventually, Maria goes into labor, and Sophia pretends to as well. During the struggle of childbirth, Cornelis pleads with the doctor to save his wife instead. Sophia hears this, and the cruelty of her deception finally dawns on her. Not long afterward, Maria gives birth to a healthy baby girl. As planned, Sophia stages her own death during childbirth. The deception devastates Cornelis, who is overwhelmed with grief at the loss of the woman he loves. Sophia listens to his sorrow and realizes the depth of the pain she has caused. Guilt begins to consume her, but by then, the lie has gone too far to be undone. As she waits for John, who is being held by his business partners and debt collectors, he sends his friend Garrett to make a trade on his behalf. Garrett successfully makes the trade, but on his way back, he gets distracted and begins drinking. When he stumbles back drunk, he realizes he has eaten the seeds he was sent to fetch. After waiting for so long and unable to bear the weight of her actions, Sophia flees back to her husband. Realizing she can no longer stay, and too guilt-stricken to move on with John, she throws her cloak in the river. When John comes for her and realizes she has left him, he searches all night and eventually finds her cloak in the river. Believing she has drowned, he mourns her death. Sometime later, Willem returns from his forced service in the Navy. He immediately seeks out Maria at Cornelis's house. At first, Maria is furious with him, believing he abandoned her. Their loud argument catches Cornelis's attention. The misunderstanding is soon cleared up when Willem learns that Maria never betrayed him. In the process, Cornelis discovers the truth about his wife's deception, and the part Maria and John played in it. Maria begs for his forgiveness. Cornelis is shattered, but because he has grown to love the baby, he comes to terms with what has happened and leaves his house to the child, naming her his heir. He then decides to move on with his life and departs for the Dutch East Indies. 8 years later, John is still obsessed with his lost love. The abbess of St. Ursula visits John and admires his artwork, much of which is inspired by Sophia. Impressed by his talent, she commissions him to paint a mural for the church. While working high above the sanctuary, John glances down and sees a familiar face in the crowd below. It is Sophia, who has since joined the convent. Their eyes meet, and after years of separation, they exchange gentle smiles. Cornelis eventually finds happiness, builds a family, and begins a new chapter of his life. After many years, Maria and Willem fill the house with many children of their own, and the baby, whom Cornelis named Sophia, grows into a beautiful young girl. If you enjoyed this story, you're always welcome here at Immortal Recaps. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more emotional movie recaps just like this one. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to find you here again. Bye until next time.